Tussle Podcast, episode 13, Heat, halftime heat.
Pass out if you keep screaming like that.
It is I, the red hot mamacita, KJ Johnson, alongside the co-host, Latino Heat.
Just John.
That's right, buddy. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you, buddy?
Oh, spat all over myself, feeling good.
That's a great way to start a podcast.
It's another episode.
Yeah, we did it.
Another day.
Yep.
Another dollar. We are one step closer to WrestleMania 15, the culmination.
We are.
Yeah,
We're
our
getting close.
storyline.
We are getting close.
We talked about last week what our next storyline is going to be, what the next storyline after that is going to be.
Yep.
We've got a lot of stuff coming in the tank.
A lot of cool shit happening, man.
We're going to be revisiting. I can expose this because this is just a mini thing.
Okay.
We're going to be revisiting the Saturday night's main event eventually.
I don't think you got to promo that.
No, I'm promoting it. I don't know whether or not there's going to be moolah.
To be fair, the last one that we reviewed was fun. So, you know what?
Epic. Epic. And I am all about nostalgia at the moment.
Yep.
All about nostalgia. WWF Attitude on Nintendo 64. WrestleMania 2000 on the N64. I am deep, I tell you, in Attitude Era nostalgia because the current day is a complete shit show.
Yeah, every time I come in here and tell you about some new shit, you're always just like confused, like what the fuck is going on?
Newfangled nonsense. Newfangled nonsense, I say. So let's ease ourselves into the madness.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Ease ourselves in. Did you watch Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, I did. I thought you were talking about back in the day. I'm like, which one? Yeah, I did watch the latest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you think of the show as a whole? Because I'm certain that the Hell in a Cell match itself you found extraordinary.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match, but the rest of the paper was cool. Like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything that I would go out of my way to watch.
Certainly, certainly. Yeah. So I mean, your match. I'm sure everybody's match of the night was the Hell in a Cell. And specifically about, of course, Cody Rhodes going in there with a torn pectoral, completely off of the bone, and refusing to call it a night. Going out there and having a Hell in a Cell match, no less.
And the second that the news broke out, I'm pretty sure every wrestling fan was like, yeah, he's still going to show up. Yeah. Because it's Cody, and he can make a storyline out of this. Just like that, he did it. He came out, showed the bruise, which was horrifying. That looked nasty.
It was ugly to see.
Yeah. So for him to put on that match, it's like it's respectable, but like also I never want anyone to do anything like that. Like that looked fucking painful.
Yeah, it was the only match that I chose to go and watch of the show itself because the show just simply did not interest me.
The only other match that I would say, if you were to go back and watch it, would be the opening triple threat match for the women's title.
Yes, I did hear that was quite good as well.
That one was good, and then everything else was just
fine.
Fine. Not terrible, but also not great.
Right, right. And Cody Rhodes picking up 3 consecutive victories over Rollins. Yeah,
that's how you make a feud. Just make one side dominate the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, it sets up Cody really nice. Unfortunate that he's injured.
Yeah.
And potentially missing quite a significant amount of time on the shelf.
Yeah.
But his surgery was a success, apparently, which is always good news. And
but this would have been a more exciting, not exciting time, but it would have been better if this was the end of the Rollins-Cody feud, because it makes Cody look strong. Now you can put him up against, bigger names or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that Rollins attacked him after on the Raw after Hell in a Cell means this feud's still going.
Probably.
Which is kind of fucked up since Cody's won every match. So it's like, even if Rollins does win whatever match they put on next, what's the point? It's still going to be 3-1.
I would like to hope, I would like to be optimistic and hope that it was simply just a way to write Cody out.
He has a injured.
I know, but I'm hoping that it's a way to write him out.
Yeah.
And if anything, at maximum, they'll have like a little spot somewhere down the road. Like
hopefully,
if he's, if he can't make it back until the Royal Rumble, then maybe they have a little spot in the Rumble where Cody, hoofs him out, and then it's like, perfect.
Then the next night on Raw, cry about eliminating him.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was that and that horribleness. So I mean, get well soon, Cody. Also from the show that bled into Raw was Edge being dismissed from his incredibly successful work with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, and those two were like, we'll take the guy that you beat on Sunday.
Yep.
Finn Balor.
Yep. Finn said that during the match, he saw something in Damian Priest and Rhea, and he was like, I gotta join forces with them. And they betrayed Edge. And, well, the reports are saying, though, that the Edge didn't want to do like supernatural shit.
Understandable.
But Vince wants to go so he got Finn to replace him, which is kind of fucked up for Finn because now he has to do supernatural shit.
Yeah, that means all three of them do.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
I don't. I just don't understand.
Listen, you have something amazing that's working right now, and you're just gonna piss it all away because you want to do spooky stuff.
Yeah.
And if the spooky stuff was successful before, I would understand it. But you just saw the train wreck that was Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna be like, no, we're gonna keep it's like Vince and his whole superhero thing where he wants to get a superhero character over and it just never works.
No, not gonna happen.
Stubborn old man.
Yeah, and now Edge, after a very limited heel run in which probably would have been great if given more time, now has to ramshackle a babyface turn together.
Yep. Because I remember when he was a babyface and he just turned heel.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, there's no reason for you to do this. We don't want this. Yeah. And then, he kept working on it and we were like, fine. Yeah. It's working enough. We got it.
It was getting somewhere.
And then, a couple weeks in, they're like, nah, fuck it. Go back to being a baby.
And now he's got to be like, what's he going to do? He's going to be like, sorry, guys. Seems that we've got a bigger problem here.
Sorry, AJ, that I tormented you all those weeks.
If you want, kind of, there's, Finn. That guy.
So yeah, it's just so fucking annoying.
It
so
is.
Annoying. So you kind of see how some wrestlers can get kind of frustrated with the creative in WWE because to be honest, it seems like there is no creative and they're just winging it.
None. and like that's why I'm kind of like, why would you ever look at this company and be like, yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah. And the fact that there's still like millions, again, yeah, the money's nice, but if you know that you're going to go through all this shit, like, does it really, you know, especially with New Japan there and AEW coming up, you know, but these young stars, they still want to do the whole NXT route, make it to the main roster, you know, then get their name changed and fired in a week.
Yeah, exactly. That seems to be the trademark. Yeah. Anybody that's coming up from NXT in the last, I don't even know how long. It's been so long. Yeah. I have never had any faith in them whatsoever at all. Every single one.
And trust me, that's how a lot of, even diehard NXT fans, that's how a lot of them feel. Like, the second that you hear your favorite wrestlers' names being mentioned and moving them up to SmackDown or Raw, you're just like, fuck. Yeah.
Like, Tommaso Ciampa has done nothing but sneak attacks.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he's done since
the guy that had one of the
there.
best feuds in NXT history with Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. And there's this guy down there that I just saw. I think his name is Carmelo Hayes or something like that.
Yeah.
He looks amazing. And I'm just like, they're going to fuck you.
Listen, that's the same thing that everyone said about Ricochet, that he looks amazing. Yep. He has star written all over him. And then he got to the main roster and they destroyed that poor man's character.
And continue to do so. So, yeah, it leaves me with little faith in the WWE's team to get anything done, whether it's legends, established stars, or newcomers. I have zero faith at all.
Because the legends were safe, but now you see what happened to Edge, and now you're like, oh, so no one's safe from bad creative.
You don't want to be spooky, do you? Oh, you don't want to disappear out of thin air, do you? Oh, well then. Here's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna take your successful stable and make it spooky. Yeah. Oh man.
And you're not gonna be proud of it.
We're in for a fucking ride for the next couple weeks, man.
Nonsense.
We're gonna be in for it.
Yeah, and if you take your ball and you go home like Sasha Banks and Naomi, then you're just pieces of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't work, and fuck you.
You were difficult to work with.
Yeah, you're impossible. You don't want to do spooky shit. You're impossible.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I mean, among other things, WWE is a train wreck, but at least in our humble opinion.
Yeah, because if you go online, if you go on the Twitters and stuff, there's a community of people that love everything WWE's putting out, and you know, respect to you guys. If you find enjoyment in it,
listen,
respect to you guys. But from our humble opinions, it's not great over there. It's not the greatest over there right now.
Yeah, but then let's talk about AEW, another big company that we can discuss. Talking about Forbidden Door, got Moxley that's now going to be moving on to face Tanahashi.
Yeah, well, it's the winner of Tanahashi and Goto, but everyone.
Excuse me.
Yeah, yes. But everyone is saying that Tanahashi is going to be the clear.
It should be.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of wouldn't make sense to. But I mean, this whole thing hasn't really made sense. Like the Battle Royal in order to face Moxley, so Moxley just gets a bye because he's top of the rankings apparently, and then.
Again, that's the one thing with AEW is that they take the longest and most complicated way to tell us a story, because that whole like Moxley just gets a pass and then everyone else has to do the Royal Rumble stuff, and even though the whole Forbidden Door, even though I'm so hyped for it, from like someone that's maybe like a more casual viewer, I can see how they might be very, very much confused about all of this. Yeah. You know, a whole bunch of new stars just popping in every week, and they're kind of like, who who the fuck is that guy?
This? Yeah, they're kind of just showing up. And here's the trouble, is that, at least from what I can see, is that they're just catering to the hardcore audience.
Yeah.
Which is good for that, your base. Your base is your hardcore audience. Yeah, certainly. And I appreciate the fact that you're showing a bit of love to the hardcore audience, because over on the Sports Entertainment Channel, they're not showing any love at all to the hardcore people, and seem like they're actively trying to push them away at times. However, when you get so hardcore driven, like when it's just like only this base, then you kind of alienate any potential new viewers that you get.
Yeah.
Because potential new viewers will come in, they'll be like, oh, great. You know, like I remember Moxley or Daniel Bryan or Jericho.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, but who's Will Ospreay? Who's Tatsuya Naito? What is Japan?
And then, you know, the fact that you have to keep up with all these other promotions just to understand what's going on in their tournament. Because, you know, even like they have the All Atlantic Pro, the new championship that they came out.
Title.
You know, they have this whole tournament, but one part of the tournament is being held by New Japan. So it's like, so now you have to keep up with New Japan.
Yeah.
And, you know,
there's not enough packaging. Like, there's not enough presentation.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like this guy and this promotion and this
thing.
And it's like,
and the thing too is that it's okay that they cater to the hardcore fans. You know, like when they bring in one star, you know, just randomly, it's a cool thing to see. But when you go super towards your hardcore fan base, but then also want to promote your company as the next WWE, it's kind of tough, because now you're gonna get the casual fan that's like, oh, let me see, these guys are the new WWE, let me go see what they have going on. But then when they tune in, it's like, if you don't have this deep knowledge of what's going on in the indies and in ROH and in New Japan, you'll be like insanely confused of what's going on, you know. You know, like they'll just have random, you know, they had David Finlay fighting Hangman Page. And it's like, if you don't know New Japan or the indies, you'll be like, why is this ex-champion fighting this guy that I've never even heard of?
It's potentially limiting. I hope that they can course correct it, because I personally am having a hard time. I'm struggling to get interested in this Forbidden Door show.
Yeah, because like that's the thing. From your perspective, you don't mess with New Japan that much.
No.
Like, how has this whole promotion towards Forbidden Door been for you? Like, as just like a guy that knows WWE and some AEW, like how has it been for you?
It's been a mess. It's been an out mess.
Yeah.
Because like I'm loving AEW. I've pretty much switched over to them almost exclusively. But when you integrate the New Japan people, and I do know some New Japan people based on, you know, like the top like favorite matches or the ones that like, oh my god, you need to see this, like the Okada, Ospreay, Jay White, etc. But I can sit back and I can be like, well, yeah, I've heard of them.
But if their music hits, you won't be like...
And it's like, you can't just tell me that they're good. You have to show me that they're good. Like, you have to come with some sort of narrative. Like, I think that's when the video packages would come in very handy, because it would be like, okay, here's Forbidden Door. Here's our idea. It's our best AEW guys that you've grown with now for 3 years. And now here's this New Japan thing. And this New Japan thing has got like 80 years of history. And this is the current crop of talent. And these guys are probably, pound for pound, the best in-ring competitors that New Japan has ever had, and give me like a fucking like deep sports athletic dive, you know, like how they would do like a 30-minute table like panel discussion over these guys. I would devote probably an episode of AEW Dark or something like that. Do one whole episode of them being like, this is New Japan, this is the guys, these are the people that are probably coming, these are the matches that we have kind of planned, or these are the dream matches that everybody is talking about, and this is why these two competitors would be unbelievable. Then you have, okay, that 30 minutes is on YouTube, fantastic, 45 minutes, whatever. Take from that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and inject those into Dynamite and Rampage and like 2-minute things and packages and being like, this is why Forbidden Door is going to be a huge fucking thing. Not just for us hardcore people, but for the casual people.
Yeah, because I feel like the hardcore guys, when they hear, okay, Moxley's going to face Tanahashi, Okada's going to face Hangman, they kind of understand why that match is being set up, but like the more casual fan will be like, well, why the fuck? Why is this guy fighting this guy? Or why is this guy doing this? But that's also another thing with AEW's time issue. They want to pack so much shit into they want to make sure everyone gets a minute of screen time that they don't have time to do, like, let's say, like what early WWE and even now current WWE would do, where they have like these little video packages kind of explaining what's happening in their show, right? And that's because, like, even the other day, like I put on, I think it was Rampage or it might have been a Dynamite, and like there was no, like, we were just straight in the ring, like there was no entrances, nothing. They're like, hey, welcome to the show, we gotta get this shit going, type of thing.
And I like that idea. I like the idea of like, hey, we are action packed and we are a thing. I'm cool with that, but like, I don't know, they're struggling with something that's like, there's an it factor missing for me. And especially with this injection of New Japan and even ROH to a certain degree as well, you know, like if we're gonna be on AEW Dynamite, that's where a huge portion of your audience is, then you should be more like, okay, here's the history of ROH, or here's the history of New Japan, or here's the history of this belt, or this character, or this wrestler. And like, you need to lean in to these video packages or these hype people or something in order to be like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the story element is missing.
Exactly, yeah.
And as we're getting to know quite frequently, I'm a story man.
And then you brought up a good point as well with the ROH stuff, because I know that it's still a while before they get their own stuff going, and you want to like kind of keep the titles in people's, but then it confuses the casual fan, because now they have a whole other set of belts that they're like, well, what the fuck is this? You know, you have FTR with their titles and Wheeler Yuta coming off a title, and you're like, what are these are these titles that we should be worried about? Like, what's going on? And then you still have to introduce, you know, AEW titles. So now you have New Japan titles, AEW titles, ROH titles, and
the Six Flag title.
And to a casual fan seeing all that, it could be overwhelming, because I know there's a lot of hardcore fans that go on Twitter and they're like, wait, what the fuck's going on?
And who's in contention for what? And
exactly.
Who's exclusively going ROH, or who's bouncing back and forth?
Exactly. And then you have like the AAA title, the title for Mexico.
God.
That's another. So it gets kind of wild.
And a lot of times you're getting your core belts lost in the shuffle and your core talents.
100%.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not all roses and daffodils over in AEW either, but hopefully they get themselves sorted out, because
again, they only 3 years in. They're still super young. Mm-hmm. I think because of the people they have there, we're putting them on a higher pedestal. And we're like, you guys need to figure your shit out now. Yeah. But they're still 3 years. They're still super young. They still have some time to.
I'm hoping that the New Japan relationship continues, but I would like them to get through Forbidden Door and then eliminate all of this outside shit for a bit.
Pump the brakes.
Just eliminate for a bit and just focus on your core. Mm-hmm. Focus on your talents. Focus on the people that you have right now, giving them stories, giving them stakes. This with Jon Moxley was the first time on AEW Dynamite, and I think about like 6 months to a year that I've heard them mention the rankings once.
Well, they have so much.
Because they've got so much going on. And so much influx of talent. And now that there's injuries aplenty going around and all of this stuff, like you have to focus on your core group and get that shit together.
And that's the thing, because I love the rankings from a storytelling point of view. I love the rankings because it forces you to write good material. Because you can't let anyone kind of sneak up in there and then having to deal with that. But then also from a point of view where it's like we're continuing to bring people in, the rankings are a fucking mess.
Yes.
Because now you have a top 5 guy coming in and you're like, well, how do you rank this guy?
Yeah.
Do you put him in the top 5? Exactly. Does he have to go on Dark and win 1,000 matches to get,
Right?
So it does get confusing.
Certainly. And I love the sports-like element, like the sports broadcast element. And I feel like they're losing that now more so in trying to balance everything else. And I think they should just lean more back into that sports element again. In the beginning, I thought they were extraordinary at it, doing the rankings, having a hold of that, having the story. The only time that they ever had a slip up was the beginning of the Dark Order, because it was like, oh, we're sports. And then this evil thing. Like, oh, wait a minute. But I love their sports element. I love that mix and blend. I think they should lean into
and
that
even
more.
Sometimes it happens more with the women's division. I haven't seen it too much on the men's side, but sometimes someone who they probably don't want to be in the top of the rankings sneaks their way in, and then they're like, fuck. So now you have like this person getting a title. Even like that little thing, like it must be hell for them to kind of write around it, but it's fucking amazing for me. It was like, it keeps it interesting. Like anyone at any time could get hot and keep it, get a title shot.
It would be good, but yes, let's hope that they get their shit together. Present day wrestling is on the ropes right now.
And everyone's injured to hell.
They've got to call a timeout. Got to grab a rest hold for a minute.
We need an off season. Let everyone heal up.
Indeed. But that's enough. That's enough of current day. That is enough of presents. Okay? I want to go back in time.
Let's do it.
Cue up the DeLorean.
Let's do it.
It's time for Heat. Heat. It is halftime Heat, John Bum.
Yes, sir.
This was an interesting show.
Yeah. What aren't you gonna do your by the numbers thing? Am I getting ahead of myself?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You've jumped the gun.
I'm excited.
I know, as you should be. As you should be. Because it's time for the numbers.
Let's go.
Halftime Heat, January 31st, 1999. We have ourselves a rating of 6.5 $1.59, which estimated to a 9.3 share of an entire 100% of that entire day, I believe.
Okay.
Millions upon millions upon millions watching this show, specifically, of course, the halftime heat portion of the television program, because this was during the 20-minute block. The empty arena match was during the 20-minute block of the halftime show, which aired on the USA Network.
Yes.
Sunday Night Heat did. So the people that were watching the Super Bowl, they would have seen the Super Bowl advertisement that the WWE put out in 1999, which we'll hear a bit later. And then, hopefully, they would tune over to the USA Network in order to watch the empty arena match, which was, of course, Mankind versus The Rock for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. So, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty significant show.
Okay.
I think this was, so this is obviously in the lead up to St. Valentine's Day Massacre. The ramifications of this would drastically change how St. Valentine's Day Massacre would be. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here.
And to be honest, this is, at least to my knowledge, the first time I've seen something like this, where they're like, hey, we can't beat what's on TV right now, but during that break, come over to us, and then you can go right back to watching. So it's one of the most intriguing things I've ever witnessed. I'm not sure if you've seen anything similar, but this is
certainly not. No, and this was a pretty ingenious move. In order to get those sports fans on the that are watching the Super Bowl, because of course millions. An incredible amount of people watching the Super Bowl every year. And even if you get just a small portion of that audience for a heat, let's not forget.
Especially since you're running up against them anyways. Like, this was just an amazing idea.
Yeah, because instead of getting slaughtered and having nobody watching your television show, you actually managed to put on something that is relatively intriguing of a WWF Championship match. This would be unfucking heard of today. No matter how hard they tried, you would never get something like this.
It made this kind of like a hidden gem type of thing, because till you mentioned it, I've never heard of this match before. I've never, in my years of watching wrestling, I've never heard of this empty arena match until you said it. And now I know why, because it was buried in between a Super Bowl.
Indeed. And speaking of which, we have some extra numbers here. Our local sports correspondent, Just John Madden. Take it away, man.
That was clever. That was amazing.
You see, Christ. I know the sports. I know the sports.
That was surprising. So yeah, this whole event went down during Super Bowl 23. The Denver Broncos versus the Atlanta Falcons. And any Atlanta Falcons fan knows they lost, because that's what they're known for.
Fantastic.
Broncos won 34-19. With the MVP being John Elway, the quarterback for the Denver Broncos, who actually won his back-to-back rings. So last year he also won, and this year he won as well.
Good God. So the Denver Broncos were top-notch in 1999.
Yes, and the Falcons were being the Falcons in 1999.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, wow.
Gotta take some shots at the Falcons whenever I have the chance.
Listen, that's what you have to do, okay? Hockey is a tough sport.
Listen, they do the dunks.
On with the show.
Halftime
Heat. It is opening up with a video recap of the Royal Rumble I Quit match. And of course, following along this, Mankind is absolutely saying, I did not say I quit, even though I felt like I had been bashed in the head with a chair about 11 times. Or felt like I was electrocuted. The one thing I did not did not do was say, I quit. Mankind would hold up $100,000 of The Rock's money in order to get himself a rematch in which he challenged The Rock to an empty arena match.
Yeah.
A first time ever for the WWF Championship, but not a first time ever as an empty arena match.
There's been more of these?
Yes, there has. Yes,
Shit.
Memphis Wrestling.
Of course.
Yes, it was Jerry the King Lawler and Terry Funk in an empty arena match, which ended with Jerry Lawler accidentally stabbing Terry Funk in the eye, and Terry Funk bleeding from the eye profusely, screaming, "My eye, my eye, my eye."
Well, how do you say that so casually? What the fuck? What was going on in Memphis, man?
That's what it was.
Jesus.
And it was actually quite a fantastic match.
Despite the stab.
Yeah, despite it, because of the stabbing. Some might say.
Okay.
But until then, we have ourselves on the commentary desk Kevin Kelly.
Yes. Love
and his broadcast partner, later to be joining him, Shane McMahon.
Shane O'Mac.
Yes.
This sounds like the worst pairing ever. And it turned out to be the worst pairing ever.
Okay. I was about to ask you, how did you feel about these two men?
They were terrible.
Did it make you long for Michael Cole?
Michael Cole is like Jim Ross compared to these two guys.
Yeah,
they were not. Most of the times, I didn't even know what the fuck Shane was talking about.
Honestly, we will get more into it as we go on, because Jesus Christ, he was damn near insufferable.
Yeah.
But coming out first is the Corporation, led by Shane McMahon.
Shane O'Mac.
Who is going to cut a promo in which he introduces the brand new Corporation member, China.
Yes.
China has turned her back on D-Generation X, costing Triple H a championship match against The Rock on Raw.
Yep. She says that for the last 2 years, she's been the one carrying DX. And they never did anything for her or her career.
Nothing. Nothing. Also, a video recap in which Shane McMahon delivers a Bronco Buster to X to the P to the A to the C.
He enjoyed it a bit too much. I was very uncomfortable during it.
And China with a line here, she says it's all about the buck, and the buck stops here at me. And now I'll be able to buy and sell you like the whores you are.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. And if you thought that was bad, then DX comes out.
DX comes out, yes. Triple H, of course, grabbing the stick and saying, Shane, you got one over on us with China. And, China, is this what you want? Is this what you wanted? Because, listen, you wanted to be considered equal, but we were never equal, because us here, we're men. And no matter how much you wanted it, you could never have a set. You could never have a set of balls. You could never be a man like us.
And then while everyone's like, holy shit, he then called her a $2 whore.
$2 whore. She is a whore as well. China is a whore. DX is a whore.
and that thing it made it so much more. It made it so funny because right after Xbox grabs the mic and he's like, "Hey Shane, I'm gonna take that silver spoon and I'm gonna shove it up here." And then Road Dogg is like, "Hey, you can't say that on the heat." And I'm like, "Wait, that's where you guys draw the fucking line?"
You can't say ass on heat. You can't. That's too taboo.
But you can insult China like that. Jesus Christ.
It makes no goddamn sense. It makes no sense. Shane McMahon books a match for Raw tomorrow night. Triple H versus Kane versus Corporate Kane in a steel cage match. And, China with the last word.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so Shane books the fucking match. And then he turns to China. He's like, "Do you have any last words?" And she's like, "Yeah, just one. Corporate." Holy shit. I never want to hear that ever again. That was terrible. I legit almost turned off my computer and was not going to review this show. I'm like, no.
It was glorious. It was absolutely glorious. Just corporate.
Oh my God.
Mankind shows up at the arena, the empty arena, just before we go to break. And by the time we come back, it is match number 1.
Yep. Jeff Jarrett.
Double J.
Big Boss Man.
Yes, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Big Boss Man, we are seeing a ton of during this run of the Attitude Era. Yeah. He has been on every single episode, at least multiple times in most spots.
Listen, I'm happy about it because when we reviewed like the 80s, he wasn't that, like, there was moments, but his run wasn't great.
Yeah.
So my whole thoughts on him were kind of low.
Yeah.
But after seeing his Attitude Era run, I'm like, oh, he was good. It was just the 80s.
A phenomenal job in 1999.
Yep.
Good Lord. Let's talk about this match. I mean, of course, these matches, once again, very short, very fast. So we're not getting, a huge bunch of stuff with it. But Shane McMahon joins us now on commentary. And the first thing that he has to say is, the puppies are loose.
Yeah.
As Deborah comes down to ringside, Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart are the new tag team champions. They had defeated the Boss Man and Ken Shamrock for the gold the night after the Royal Rumble. So the Boss Man is out for a little bit of revenge, it seems. Boss Man gets the jump on Jeff Jarrett to start.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett tries to do a walkout, but Boss Man tries to catch up with him, goes for a belt shot, but misses. Boss Man staying in some control.
Yeah. Jeff then goes to the outside and he does his classic heel move and tries to run away.
Yes.
But Boss Man follows him and attacks him from behind.
Indeed. Tries to hit him with the steel steps, but alas not. Jeff Jarrett is able to take control. But Big Boss Man is able to follow it up shortly thereafter with a spine buster. And then big old Deborah Tigbitties, she gets up on the apron.
Deborah isn't hot enough to distract someone. I'm sorry. Someone has to say it.
Well, apparently she is. Okay.
Jeez, how horny were people back in the 90s?
Well, Boss Man is briefly distracted by Deborah. But even still, Boss Man is able to land the Boss Man Slam and get the victory. Jesus Christ, he's been booked strong.
Yeah.
Holy God.
He then grabs the nightstick, but then the cameraman cuts away for some reason.
Because you can't show that on Heat.
Is that why?
You can't show it on
Heat.
Heat.
I thought they botched it or something.
Ass. No, you can't say ass. You can't show it on Heat. The Heat is the very sanitized version of the Attitude Era, which is super weird.
I thought it was a botch. I'm like, why would you cut away right when he was about to hit him?
No.
What the fuck?
No, you had to cut away. You can't show that on Heat.
And then out of all things, you cut to Shane. Come on.
And Shane is being absolutely obnoxious. Mojo Rawley levels. I was thinking to myself, this is Mojo Rawley. Woo! Yeah!
I know he's doing the whole boss's son being obnoxious, but it was getting to a point where I'm like, not even a boss's son will act like this.
On commentary.
God damn.
It's one thing to be in the corner of the man and hyping
exactly.
him up, but to be on the desk right into the microphone. Whoa, yeah, get it, baby. Get him, knock him out.
The one thing people want to hear when they tune into a wrestling show is someone screaming in their fucking ears.
Jesus, nonstop. The Rock and Vince McMahon arrive at the empty arena as we cut to commercial break. By the time we get on back, it is match number 2. Shamrock versus Owen Hart, the other half of the tag teams. They show a quick recap of Val Venus' latest film of the Sister Act. Yes, in which
because it's Heat.
Because it's Heat. You can't show that. Can't show it on Heat. But needless to say, Val Venus has slept with Shamrock's sister. Everybody's after the sister.
Such a fucked up story.
It is. It's a very messed up story in which Ken Shamrock is the heel in all of this. You're sleeping with a man's sister or mooning a man's sister. Yeah. And he is supposed to be like unreasonably outraged. Like, what are you getting so worked up about, champ?
All they're doing is sleeping with your sister to get you angry. Come on.
What's the problem?
Someone's overprotective. So yeah, Ken Shamrock then makes his way out. And of course, he is a ball of anger.
He is.
He is literally too angry to die right now. He is the angriest person on earth.
Absolutely. And Owen Hart makes his way out next. Part of the titles changing hands was that the Blue Blazer, who was dressed up, obviously not Owen Hart. Obviously not. Obviously not Owen Hart.
Did the skin give it away?
The skin gave it away because he was a black man. He was a black man. And he comes out, he's able to cause the distraction in order to cause the title changes. Yeah. So that's another little thread here that's happening. Ken, very much like Boss Man, with a sneak attack to Owen Hart to kick us off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, I wrote here again with Shane McMahon, this Mojo Rawley-esque commentary. Shamrock is in firm control until Owen Hart reverses a suplex from the outside back in. A spinning heel kick by Owen Hart as well. Fantastically done. Yeah. Beautiful. Follows it up with a gut wrench suplex. He takes off his shirt at this point because he was wearing a short, and he uses that in order to choke Ken Shamrock a little bit.
Yep.
But Ken Shamrock with a chin breaker.
I haven't, like, when I was watching this match, I legit haven't seen one of those in a while.
It's been a day.
It's been a while since I've seen someone use that move. Ken in this match goes for a head kick. Owen ends up ducking it into a suplex, which I thought was really, really fucking cool.
Yes. Owen Hart with a big old scoop slam and a leg drop. Ken able to come back with a knee and a back elbow.
Yeah, before that, I want to get your thoughts on this because I hate this move.
Oh.
So before the scoop slam leg drop that Owen Hart did, Ken Shamrock headbutts Owen in the dick. Why do we do that move?
He headbutted him in the solar plex.
No.
He headbutted him in the belly.
He headbutted him to the dick.
No, he did not.
He has all these other limbs that he can use. Why his head?
Was there a DQ? Was there a DQ? It was a headbutt to the belly. Okay?
What he said. Gave that man fellatio.
No, he did not. I will not stand for this homoerotic accusations on the Colossal Tussle podcast. Slander of the highest order.
I don't care what he says.
Unbelievable. Well, enough of that filth.
Yeah, so then scoop slam,
leg drop. Yes. Ken Shamrock comes back with a knee and back elbow before we go back to break. Yeah. By the time we come back, it is a Hurricane Rana, always scary from Ken Shamrock.
I don't know who's hyping him up in the back. He has to stop doing
He must think he can do it because he always does it. But he lands on his neck and shoulder every time. Needless to say, the Black Blazer comes on out now, heads to the top rope, tries to do a maneuver, but Ken Shamrock Irish whips Owen Hart into the ropes.
It's the Blue Blazer.
Yeah. Knocking the Black Blazer off of the top rope. Ken Shamrock follows that up with a belly-to-belly to Owen Hart and picks up the win. So the corporation is having a great night so far. 2 for 2. Owen Hart goes over to the Black Blazer and is just like, "What's wrong, buddy? Like, what happened?"
It's supposed to be me.
Yeah, what happened, man? But there's no follow-up to that. Then we have the advertisement.
Yes.
The Super Bowl ad.
Yeah. And from the way they set this whole thing up, I thought this ad was going to be like 2 hours. Because it made it seem like it was like a featured film that they were going to...
But it was incredibly good.
Yeah, it was a dope little video.
Yeah, we're gonna play it here.
Most people have the wrong impression about the World Wrestling Federation. We're a non-violent form of entertainment.
We never use sex to enhance our image.
As athletes, We understand the importance of being positive role models. We're good, wholesome family entertainment. We're trying to make the world a better place for mankind. WWF Attitude. Get it?
There you go. So I mean, with the Super Bowl advertisement, following it up with this empty arena match, I mean, you can't fault them. This is a 1-2 punch.
Listen,
of good promotion here. Right at the peak of the Attitude Era as well, because as we were really saying in the January 4th Raw episode, we were talking very much about how this was pretty much the peak of everything that was going on. Like, everybody was at the top of the game at this point. Wrestling had never been as popular as this moment here. Nitro had failed to capitalize on everything that they were doing with the likes of Goldberg and NWO and all of this stuff. WWF knew what to do and knew how to capitalize, and the Super Bowl was a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, no, and the thing too is with Nitro, they went for the older superstars, while WWE went for a younger core. Again, because they're legends, it's kind of hard to really think about it. But when you go back to that time, like The Rock was 24, like they were all really young. You know?
Absolutely. So, there was a big youth movement. The Attitude Era of it was also really significant. They were going with the edgy product, and they were gearing themselves to the young teenagers, to the young adults,
and as well with Nitro, as it was very much, the corporate guys on top, and they're ruling the show type of thing. With WWE, it was more of here's these young guys trying to take down the corporations and those guys with their blazers.
Exactly. The finger was on the pulse in the best way possible. And I think that doesn't get looked in as much. You bang on head, right on the money there, where you could tell that it was the establishment that was on top.
Yeah, exactly.
In WCW and in Nitro, especially in
Doom and all that shit.
Exactly.
It screams, but with WWE, it's we had the corporation, but when you really look at the product, they were getting, humiliated and,
they were getting beaten at every turn. They were getting their comeuppance. They were
DX telling them to suck it, and Stone Cold drowning them in beer,
So very smart stuff. And this promotional material, along with this next match, a fantastic 1-2 punch combo. It is the WWF Championship match, John. It is Mankind versus The Rock in an empty arena match.
With McMahon on commentary.
With Vince McMahon on the desk. We're getting a lot of changes here. A lot of unique commentary tonight.
They want to make sure that crowd that tunes in stays.
Yes. And who better to plug the WWF than the owner himself?
Exactly.
Right? So they enter the arena. They get in the ring, and Mankind is off to a quick start. Knocks him down. Double arm DDT. Going for the early win here, but not to be. Gets Socko out.
Yeah.
Puts Socko in on The Rock very early on. This is the first minute of the match.
Yeah. They're playing all the hits early. The DDT, Mr. Socko, everything.
Yep, The Rock escapes out the ring, but not before he gets a baseball slide by Mankind, a classic maneuver.
And then another quick pin, but The Rock still kicks out.
Exactly. And Vince McMahon says here, a kick out with an expletive, I might add.
To be fair, Vince on commentary tonight was amazing.
Terrific.
He was great.
Playing a great heel. He's doing solo fucking commentary.
Yep.
Solo Vince McMahon. Jesus, he hasn't done that since the 70s.
Yeah.
It's been so long since Vince has been on the desk.
He was crushing it the entire time.
Well done. Mankind taking The Rock over to the announce desk, slamming him on the table. Vince McMahon is like, keep it in the ring. Yeah. What kind of a challenger are you?
What type of championship match is
Yes. Right? And then Vince looks like he's genuinely about to pop Mick Foley. He looks like he's going to take a shot. But The Rock manages to reverse an Irish whip and sends Mankind through the barricade.
Breaking the barricade in the process. The Rock then throws Mankind into a bunch of chairs.
Yes.
He starts burying him underneath all the chairs. And then he ends up getting a couple of chair shots in. But, underneath the chairs, because I don't think he wants to hit Mankind clean with a chair shot.
So what he does instead is he accidentally steps on Mankind's head. He accidentally steps on his head.
It's an improvement.
Jesus,
it's
man.
An improvement.
And meanwhile, Vince McMahon is on commentary. I love this when he's bigging up The Rock, because he's literally like, The Rock, he's the corporate champion. He's young, aggressive, handsome. And I was like, he's going to keep going. He's going to be like, he's young, aggressive, handsome, sexy, mean, lovely, sensual.
He was very much in love with The Rock during this whole segment.
The Rock takes the headset from Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon looks at him like the most proud father. As Mankind rises from the ashes of the chair.
And Vince is
on!
Vince is trying to warn him, but classic Rock fashion, he does not listen.
Socko.
And he gets attacked.
Yes, fighting up the aisleway as the low blow takes place. McMahon is selling the fuck out of the WWF at this point. Did you hear him? He says, so the WWF, it's like soap opera. It's like the Roadrunner. It's like, and he starts listing off these other 90s things that I have no idea about. And I'm like, geez, so that's why he's on commentary. Because Michael Cole wouldn't be able to do that.
Especially, he's hoping for a whole bunch of new faces to be looking. So he's like, I gotta sell this shit.
Oh, it's like a soap opera, you say.
They climb up to the top of the
Get to the balcony level.
Yeah, and The Rock hides behind. I guess it's like one of the seats.
Yes.
With a trash can, hoping to ambush Mankind.
Yes.
And I'm like, there's no way Mankind's gonna fall for this. This is the easiest trick in the book.
No, he does.
He does.
He gets the trash can right to the dome, and then he gets kicked and goes flying down the stairs. Looks sore as hell.
Yeah, then once at the bottom, The Rock takes the trash can and empties it out onto Mankind.
Making him feel at home, The Rock says. Then he kicks him down some steps. They take it to the kitchen.
Yep.
The cotton candy attack by The Rock. He says it's just $5. It's just $5. He takes he takes Socko and he puts him in the oven. And then there's like fake oven sound effects. And he takes Mankind's hand and he like burns Mankind's hand.
The same sound effects again.
Mankind has lost a shoe by this point, so he's on one boot. And then hits him with the buns. Does The Rock? The Rock starts
some hot
smacking him with some buns.
He says something before he smacks him with the buns. He like looks at him. Then I can't remember what he says when like, you sick freak, and then just slaps him with the buns.
He's talking so much shit.
It's actually impressive that he's able to do all this while talking shit the entire time.
Mankind starts knocking over some plates, smashing them on the floor. The Rock is like, stop making a mess. And Mankind with the popcorn.
Yep.
Yes, wailing it over The Rock's head. They break out into the catering area.
Yeah.
The Rock takes a bite of popcorn when he's got control again. And he's like, too much salt! And beats him down again.
And then in the catering area, this is what I love about old school Raw and SmackDown. In the catering area, you can see the two waiters just looking at like they were enjoying. They're like, what the fuck is going on?
Happening? Yeah. They've got the cater, like the setup crew, and they're just sitting there. And like,
except for just one caterer that was looking at it, and he was loving it. He was like, what the fuck?
Mankind gets some salsa in the eye, and I hope that you heard it. He's like, oh, my eye. And I'm like, that's Terry Funk. And
the Rock has a good line at this too. He's like, it's just mild.
Yeah, he grabs a bit of bun, he wipes it off, eats it. He's like, it's mild. A low blow by Mankind, and Vince McMahon is like, oh, what a despicable move. What a tasteless
After
action.
all the shit that's been going on.
A near fall. They get taken into the offices.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock answering of the phone calls.
Oh, wait, hold the phone.
Yes.
That salsa bit was supposed to be referencing the Terry Funk shit?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. That's I just got that is fucking awesome.
And he's like, oh, my eye. Like, that's Terry's thing.
Oh, that's dope as shit. That is dope as shit.
So there you go. So back in the offices.
Yes, they're in the office.
The Rock is answering the phone saying, SmackDown Hotel here. You know, Mankind can't come to the phone right now because he's got the Rock's foot in his mouth.
Then he picks up the phone again and he's like, yeah, he still can't talk.
Yeah. He's a little tied up at the moment.
They start choking Mankind with the phone.
Cheesy business.
Yeah. For all the people under 20 that are listening to the show, that's what a phone used to look like back in the day.
Yeah. They used to have a ring.
Yeah. They had a cord connected to the base.
You had to plug it in.
Yeah. Yes.
Unbelievable.
You had to plug in your phone.
Serious. Yeah. He insults a woman, does The Rock, calls him a fat piece of garbage, and she goes running.
Attitude era, baby.
Yes, and that lights a fire under Mankind. Chivalry is not dead. Mankind fights back. They go to the loading dock where there's a double down. Mm-hmm. And then
this is where
Mankind takes the sock from off of his foot. Mm-hmm. And uses that as another version of Socko.
And
yuck.
I give so much props to Vince McMahon because when Mankind did that, he called the move the mandible claw.
Yes, he
did.
He
didn't say, it was Mr. Socko. Yes. So I was like, hey,
the mandible claw.
This man should do this more often. He's still sharp up there.
Okay, yes. So he locks in the mandible claw there and manages to make The Rock pass out almost. The Rock is laying underneath a forklift.
Yes.
And Mankind asks the forklift operator to please move.
And that pissed Vince McMahon. He's like, what kind of person says please? I'm like, what the fuck?
And then Mankind uses the forklift, bringing down a skid on top of The Rock. Mm-hmm. Mankind then gets on top of the skid. 1, 2, 3. New World Wrestling Federation champion, Mankind.
And I was genuinely surprised by that.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yes, so there you have it. We have ourselves a brand new World Wrestling Federation champion. How this pertains to St. Valentine's Day Massacre, who knows? We're going to get there. But overall, what did you think of this match, my man?
It was a really, really fun match.
So much fun.
It was a fun match. It wasn't, a technical masterpiece. It wasn't even the best hardcore match.
No.
But it was a fun match. Like, if putting myself back in that time, if I was watching the Super Bowl and I happened to turn on the channel to this, I would not be disappointed.
Yes.
It was a very fun match.
Honestly.
Vince on commentary was great. Only downside was every now and then they would cut back to Shane. I was like, why are we doing this? Why are you ruining a good time?
Honestly. It was a spectacle. That's the best way to describe it, I think. That was a fantastic way. Because if they just did a random, regular old WWF title match, wouldn't have had the same oomph.
Yeah.
But because it was an empty arena match with these characters, also of The Rock and Mankind, two of the best talkers, best smack talkers, best blood feud going on as well, because you have to fill that silence, right? Yeah. And Austin, you could argue that Austin could do this role, but I think The Rock and Mankind are perfect for this time to do this.
Especially The Rock. Like, there's no better talker.
Excellent.
than The Rock.
Super charismatic, able to fill this void of emptiness. The spectacle of it being in an empty arena, the idea of this hardcore rule, and the idea of a new World Wrestling Federation champion. I mean, how could you go wrong?
Yeah, that out of the entire event, that was the most surprising thing to me, because I thought Mankind was going to get just one title reign and that's it. They would never want to try that again. But apparently not. what Vince would do for ratings.
Yes, yes, and ratings for sure. This did better than some of the Raws leading up to this show, some of the Raws after this show leading to WrestleMania. Even Halftime Heat pulled in fantastic numbers, so it was definitely considered a success.
Of course.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about this hot potato of World Wrestling Federation title? Because since Survivor Series, we've had The Rock claim the belt, only to lose it just slightly over a month later, for him to lose, for Mankind to lose it back to The Rock in 2 weeks, and now once again in just over a week or so, we have yet another title change. So I wanted to ask you, is it fitting with the narrative for you? Are you okay with this? Do you feel like hot potatoing the title is somehow devaluing? What are your takes and thoughts?
This might be, people might not like this, but I don't mind it that much. Just because it gives like an extra touch to this blood feud that they're having, where it's like neither of them can get the upper, like any moment either of them could win a match and be the new champion. So I feel like it gives it that extra little touch to this blood feud. If it was just like randomly changing hands and like just a regular feud, I'll be like, okay, that's kind of crazy. But the fact that it's like this blood feud, you made one guy's family cry, gave him a concussion, he's stealing your money to get these title matches. And it's just this crazy, like, one day The Rock beats him and then Mankind it gives it just that extra level of like, okay, anything can happen in this feud type of thing.
What I'm finding most fascinating, especially the more that we're doing this deep dive, is how equal Mankind is. How much on the level of The Rock it is, because I really didn't think it would be. I thought like maybe The Rock would take like 90% of most of these matches and Mankind would only just squeak out a victory, but no, he had him defeated at Rock Bottom. He defeated him on Raw. He had him beat at Royal Rumble until the handcuffs came out. Like he's beaten him here. Like Mankind has been very much a credible threat to the WWF title, and I didn't think that The Rock would be, I don't want to say brought down, that's not the right terminology, but to be on equal footing with this Mankind character is very fascinating to explore. So I'm glad that we got to take a look at this, and it's just that extra element because they have 2 more matches coming up in the tank, and it's just exciting to see the ebbs and flows.
And I also like it just from like a wrestling point of view, where it's like whenever the match gets hardcore, Mankind is taking most of the match. Even both of the title wins were both in hardcore matches. But the second when you bring in the rules and you bring in a chance for Vince and his team to start cheating, then The Rock ends up winning those encounters. So even just from like a wrestling point of view, it's cool to see that as well, where it's like when there's no rules, no one interferes, Mankind gets it. Whenever there's even a possibility of the corporation to get involved, The Rock ends up winning. So that's also a cool thing to see.
Fantastic stuff. And yes, overall, did you enjoy Halftime Heat?
I did. Like the main event was great. And the 2 matches leading up to it, they weren't nothing special, but they weren't terrible either. Like those are 2 matches that, like, if I had to, I would watch it again. Same thing with the Empty Arena match. Like if I had to, I would watch it again.
Certainly, I think it did a good job telling a bit of a story. Having the corporation win both matches, I think that might have been a little misdirect to say, the corporation are going to do a clean sweep here or something like that. So that was pretty interesting too. Obviously, we don't have to do a match of the night or standout star. But I might ask, I will go as far as to say an overall show grade out of 5. What would you give Halftime Heat?
I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
A 3 out of 5.
Yeah, just because just one match that.
It is definitely a one-match show. It is a one-match show, which was the point of us having this little sidestep down memory lane.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with you as well. The 3-star.
Mm-hmm.
What would you give the Empty Arena match itself out of 5?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably also go 3.5 maybe, just because it was a fun match, but it wasn't, it wasn't anything technical. There wasn't even that much hardcore stuff going on, but it was a fun match. So a nice 3.5.
I would definitely agree as well. And also go out of your way to check this match out, actually.
Yes.
All of our listeners, have you not seen Sunday Night Heat? Have you not seen Halftime Heat? Go and have a look at this match.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. You will definitely be entertained. It's only 20 minutes long. The entire show itself is only 46 minutes.
Yeah, 46 minutes.
Oh, a breeze. A breeze.
Yeah. And if you don't watch if you just watch the one match, it's
can't go wrong. Yeah. An entertaining time.
And it's worth it just to hear Vince on commentary. It was amazing.
Absolutely.
It was
standout star.
There we go. He gets the standout star.
There you go. Vince. Yes. But speaking of Vince McMahon, we are moving on to St. Valentine's Day Massacre, in which the main event is Stone Cold Steve Austin fighting for to solidify his place at WrestleMania 15 against Mr. McMahon in a steel cage match.
Yep.
A huge, monumental night. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, the only pay-per-view of its kind in your house. It's going to be a fantastic time. Are you looking forward to it?
I cannot wait.
Yes.
I've been loving this feud so far, so I'm pretty sure this event's going to be great.
Indeed, indeed. But until then, thank you so much for joining us on this little stopgap, heading full force towards WrestleMania 15, the raging climax, John.
Oh my God.
The raging climax. Yes, you can follow us on all sorts of social media. I'm going to leave it up to just John to run us through. Where can we be found on the Twitter?
Yes, Twitter at The Colossal Tussle 1, YouTube at The Colossal Tussle, and you can follow KJ at...
Yes, again. Director KJ. And you, sir?
At Faron36 on Instagram and Twitter at The Colossal Tussle. That's where we mostly interact with y'all,
Yeah, indeed.
You could tune in there on Mondays and what other days? Wednesdays, Fridays. I'm going to be on there reviewing shows or just giving my thoughts on
there you go.
The wrestling.
Come have a chat with us. Always talk to us.
Come tell us how our opinions are wrong.
Yes.
Come over.
Yes. Debate with us most negatively.
Do not go on there agreeing with us.
Yeah. That's never fun. We don't like camaraderie on our socials. Meanwhile, you can listen to the episode. You can like and share on things like Spotify. You have Audible,
Stitcher.
Amazon Music, Stitcher, Google Podcasts as well. We are all over the shop.
And our weekly tagline, we will be on Apple.
We are so close.
We are so close.
So close.
So close.
There's one hurdle away before we are on Apple.
We are going to give it to you guys. Ooh.
Absolutely. All of you iPhone people.
Yes.
You'll be able to listen on your handy-dandy iPhone without jumping through all the hoops.
Yeah, that's right. And if you're on Android, make sure you tell your Apple friends that we are coming.
Yes. We
are almost there. We're almost there, buddy.
Yes, we're almost there. Make sure you save the podcast, Share it around if you wish. Tell us about how we're doing and show your love. Show your love and support, not just for us, but Canadian independence, Canadian independent wrestling, Canadian independent podcasting. Why not throw that shit in there? Why not?
And to the one guy watching us from Pennsylvania, shout out to you.
Yeah, exactly. Pennsylvania. We're getting into
just a guy from Pennsylvania.
We're getting into the Miami market. We're in St. College. I don't even know anymore. I don't even know, but we're worldwide, buddy. We're worldwide. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And until then, St. Valentine's Day Massacre is on the horizon. And we are